Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and welcome back to an all-new edition of Topless Tech with all the news that's going to make you want to blow your top off. That's why I'm not wearing a shirt right now. Nah, I'm on vacation. Wasn't planning to work today, but we've got a hot one, and we have got the specs on the RTX 3090, 3080, and 3070 being leaked over on videocards.com, so I couldn't wait a moment longer. Even though I still got my vacation shades on, I'm getting a suntan, and I'm still social distancing because America's great. Still got to do all that good stuff even on vacation, but I'm not going to waste one more second of your time. We're going to get fired right in to the news. That failed massively. Did you just finish building a sweet gaming rig only to have this happen to you? Not to worry, because your CD Key has you covered with Windows 10 Pro licenses for under $18. And if you head over there right now, you could save 20% off with my code JPD20 at checkout. You'll receive your key within seconds, and then just click the start button and type activate to find the Windows activation screen, and all you got to do then is paste your code in. For more info as well as that coupon code, be sure to check out the links down in the description below. Sorry about that. I know I told you you guys didn't have to wait one more second. Well, you did because of the ad. Got to do those. Got to still pay the bills, keep the lights on, all of that good stuff. Otherwise, how could I look this good wearing shades indoors? So let's get fired into the news, though. As I said at the top, sources for this video are videocards.com, who are crediting themselves as the leakers of this, and they have their own private sources, which they have not named. But knowing Video Cards and having spoken with the chief editor over there, Cry, in the past about certain rumors and leaks, I know that he is puts them under a certain level of scrutiny before posting things. There's a lot of stuff that gets leaked and posted on other websites that they typically won't post on Video Cards because he'll either know or not. There won't be enough proof there for them to consider publishing it. So obviously take these with a grain of salt, but Video Cards posting them for me is good enough to at least make a video about this for you guys. So let's talk about it. We've also got some images of the packaging for what looks like the RTX 3090 and 3080. So if this holds up to be true, it looks like my theory about this being the 2100 series will not be true, and I'm totally okay with that. I stated it right up front. It was just a theory. And I think it honestly had a lot of good basis behind it. It wasn't just like random thought. So yeah, if it ends up being a 3000 series, oh well, not losing sleep over it, obviously. So yeah, we've got the packaging here. Obviously we can't see the whole thing, but we can see part of the specs. As you can see peeking out here on the left side of the 3090, it says 24 gigabytes of video memory, and on the 3080, it says 10 gigabytes. According to videocards.com, they say that they also learned that board partners will be releasing a second variant of the RTX 3080, which will actually have 20 gigabytes of video memory. And the video memory being featured on these two cards is GDDR6X, and they also say that according to the data and the information they were given, these will be on the 7 nanometer node process. Coming down to the chart here with the full specs, we don't have as complete a specs for the RTX 3070 at this time. Stuff like the CUDA core and clock speeds have not been determined just yet, but for the 3090 and the 3080, it looks like we pretty much have the full specs here, although nothing was mentioned in terms of tensor or RT cores, just the base rasterization core performance, I guess you could call it. So let's go down the list, shall we, with the RTX 3090 and 3080, both showing 7 nanometer on the GA102 300 for the 3090, G102 200 for the 3080. The CUDA core count on the 3090 looks to be 5,248, while the 3080 is rocking 4,352, which, if you remember, that is the exact amount on the RTX 2080 Ti. So the RTX 3080 almost seems like it is going to be a 2080 Ti in terms of its CUDA core count, but with, a new generation of architecture, these CUDA cores will be a certain amount faster than the previous CUDA cores, and also bringing it over to 7 nanometer could also help with the speed there as well. So it's, has the same amount of cores as the 2080 Ti, but I would expect the performance to probably be a little bit better than that of a 2080 Ti. And also when it comes to the core count, the numbers here are a lot closer than what we saw on the 2000 series. Just to quickly refresh my memory as well as your guys, the 2080 Ti, as I said, had 4352 CUDA cores. The 2080 had 2944. So we're looking at about a 1,350 or 1,400 point difference, really, there between those two cards. So 1400 CUDA core difference between the 2080 and the 2080 Ti. Now we're looking at about a 900 core difference between the 30 and the 3090. So what that tells me is that we might end up seeing the performance being closer on the 3080 and 3090 than we did with the 2080 and say the 2080 Ti, maybe coming in line more with like the 2080 Super and the 2080 Ti. So those cards might be a little bit closer in terms of performance. We didn't get the CUDA core count on the 3070 or the boost clock, but it is showing the boost clock for the 3080. It's 1710 megahertz and 1695 for the RTX 3090. For the memory, once again, as I mentioned, 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X on the 3090, 10 gigabytes on the 3080. Memory clock is at 19.5 gigabits per second on that 3090, 19 gigabits per second on the 3080. We've also got a bigger memory bus as a result on the higher priced card at 384-bit, while the 3080 will have 320-bit, and the bandwidth there will be 936 gigabytes per second and 760 gigabytes per second for the 3080. And last is the power requirement. They are saying a 350 watt TGP for that 3090 and 320 watts for the RTX 3080. They do also mention in here that the 3090s will be requiring a dual 8-pin power connector, and then on the Founders Editions, and maybe on some of the board partner cards, but at least with the Founders Edition, there will be that smaller 12-pin connector, which will require the adapter, which is meant to be shipping along with the cards, which they say is to cut down on how much space is being taken up on the PCB, which does make sense, being that they have this sort of like angular V-shaped cutout on the PCB for the 3090. So those are the specs. Those are what we have so far. Again, this has been leaked over on videocards.com. Links to the source will be in the description. So take it with a grain of salt. But, these, I think they look very believable. I don't think they look too outside what we were really expecting to see on these cards. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on what you think of these specs. Which one of these cards are you thinking about picking up? We didn't get as much information on the 3070, unfortunately. But the 3080 is sounding like it could be a real champ here as far as price to performance is concerned, with the CUDA core difference only being 900 this time around, which is still a decent amount. Like the 3090 is still definitely going to be a more powerful card, but not as more powerful, if that makes sense, than what the 2080 Ti was over the 2080, or really even the 2080 Super. It's a lot closer here between these two cards, so depending on what the price is, the 3080 might start to make a lot more sense to some people that don't want to go out and spend close to $1,500 or possibly even more than that, especially if the 3080 comes in at, I would hope, under $1,000. I mean, I would think maybe like $799, I think would really be the ceiling there for the 3080. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. What do you think the pricing is going to be on these? And if so, which one of these are you planning to pick up? There are also some board partner cards starting to leak online as well. We got to look at the Zotac RTX 30 series lineup. They currently have at least 5 cards planned between the 3090, 3080, and 3070, but I'm sure there'll be other cards put out there as well. And yeah, they look pretty decent here. Not really getting a full-on look of the entire card, but yeah, aesthetically, they look fine. Hopefully they do a good job of cooling, especially in the 3090 with that 350 watt TGP. It's no wonder NVIDIA is trying to switch around power connectors and, doing with crazy push-pull fan designs, which I'm really intrigued to see. Like, I am super excited to see what that Founders Edition card can do with pulling, the air in from the case and then, putting it out the back right up by your rear fan, which is exactly where, most people's airflow is really going. And since that rear exhaust fan and the GPU is right under it, it could be a game changer when it comes to GPU cooling. Hopefully it is. That would be cool to see. I'm really excited to test the Founders Edition on the 3090, and also, of course, all the other cards in the lineup and stuff like that. So that is all I have got for you guys here today. We are heading back to New Jersey tomorrow, so this is definitely the last video, the last edition of Topless Tech probably ever, unless, I don't know, we can get like a petition started down in the comments if you guys want to see Topless Tech more often. Might have to start an OnlyFans account. Just might be the case. But as I said, that's all I've got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend coming up, and I will see you probably back on Monday for regularly scheduled videos in the usual office, time and place, and all that good stuff. So I will see you then. Ciao.